Hey everybody, what is going on? My name is Sin, and today we're going to be talking about Imhotep and whether he's viable for your roster in terms of Sunset Canyon. I currently cannot do a video on like open field or anything like that, just because the people that I'm currently playing with on my main account were so far into the kingdom's lifespan as far as SOC goes that I don't think that Imhotep would be very viable as far as being put out in the open field or anything like that, because as far as it goes, especially for spenders, when you're this far in to the game, you're going to have a whole bunch of legendaries and nobody's really using epics or anything anymore. I mean, you might see a few people that still use Sun Tzu or whatever, but at this point, as far as it goes, if you're this far into the game, you should either be a really high level T4 player as a free to play, or you should have your T5 by now. Like myself, I don't have T5 yet because I took a break, but I plan on getting T5 somewhere pretty soon. Kind of all depends really how many speed ups I get and stuff, depending on how I play the game and stuff like that. So anyway, we're gonna level up Imhotep just enough to get all of his skills. I'm gonna spend a bunch of epic commander sculptures and stars just to get him that high, and then we're gonna see how he fares as a secondary inside of Sunset Canyon, just because of his expertise skill. Makes him better when he's the secondary. So it's more than likely he is a secondary commander rather than a primary. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to just level him up. Cool. Okay, so that was a 50,000. And I really don't care about what stars I'm using, because as far as the epic tier goes, it's fine. And then we're going to continue to level them up. Which, once you level them up to get like 2 skills, you kind of have to level them up all the way to like, I believe it's level 40 or something, so that he gets all the skills. I'm not really too worried about his talent tree or anything like that. So yeah. Alright, let's get him up. Spend a bunch of star sculptures. Almost there. Okay. There we go. So we finally got his final skill for this. Now we're going to level up the skills. It doesn't really matter what order it's going to go in, because we're just going to do all of them anyway. And as you can see, now if you had like to do this as a free to play and you were doing him off like the rip, I would totally tell you to click on this little settings button over here and set his skills back to 1, and then kind of do them in order, so you'd like lock this one essentially, and then you'd go back, and then you would continue to unlock the skills until it hit 5, in which this little icon will pop up telling you that, hey, you need to go over and change the settings. And then if it was me, I'd go to 2 or 3. You could do probably just 2. And this is where I'd go in, so I'd go 1, 2, level that up, and then click on it again. And then it doesn't really matter. I don't really like the third skill, so I would just go all the way to where the fourth skill is. I'd upgrade that and just see where the skills land, and hopefully it would land on the fourth skill. But if not, that's okay. It's not like the third skill is entirely bad. It does give you a garrison health bonus for your city, but I don't think that, late game as a free-to-play, you'd be using Imhotep as your secondary for your city garrison. Okay, so now that we've got him completely leveled up, we're going to unlock his expertise skill. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace him onto my Sunset Canyon team after I grab my expedition rewards, because why not? Okay, and I'm currently not ranked in Canyon, so this will kind of be one real easy fight as usual. Okay, I ranked 124th. And then let's go to this. We're gonna go to challenge. And then I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to replace Joan with Imhotep and see where that gets us. And by the way, as long as you have the stars, I think it is only level 30 instead of 40 as I was saying a while ago. So we're gonna backtrack on the spearman and go bowman. One more spearman though, to kind of balance out the ratio, because Ethelfled does use all 3 as part of her tree. Her tree benefits all 3 of the unit types. I think it's something about 4, but nobody ever uses siege because they're so vulnerable. So I don't think the bonus really benefits. Now we're not going to skip the battle because I want to see how this plays out. And see, watching the back line, if I can, what Imhotep does. And it might not show it because it's a 2v3, so we might have to do this a couple times. And just kind of watch. Yeah, it's definitely... Well, the fight up top looks pretty good, because it looks like my 2 marches up top are faring pretty well. Now it's a 4v2. Now it's a 3v3. My Richard and Sun Tzu's lasting pretty strong over here against their Kusunoki Herman and their Ethel Joan, which Ethel Joan is definitely a strong combo. But I honestly think that this is a fight that I just won. Because it just looks that way, because Kusunoki's going to go down, and then my Minamoto is definitely going to go down in a minute here, but not before taking a little bit more of the Ethelfled's health. Now it's Charles and Julius, which I don't really like Julius as a commander to put behind Charles. It's just something that I had that was a little bit stronger than everything else. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm not gonna win this one, but that could be because of Joan of Arc, yeah. So I didn't win that one. It was barely a loss. And I don't know if that's just because I didn't have Joan on my team. I wonder if I can find the same player. Just so I can kind of see. I wonder if I can click on history. Okay, yeah, let's revenge it. And let's see if swapping out Imhotep for Joan and changing it back over to Spearman would make a difference. And this time I'm not going to show the battle, because obviously if Joan wins, it's going to pop up as a win, and if not, then it doesn't really matter. And I could show it, actually. Why not? Just to see. And I could have probably changed my lineup, but I want to see if, the same layout has a different effect. And I also think that there's crit chance and stuff like that too, so it could be different. They could definitely beat me with a huger amount of difference. So let's see. So my Alex is gonna fall first. That's with my E-Song, which is what I usually pair with my Charles because it lasts longer, so the AoE typically lasts longer. But it looks as though they have a few marches that have gone down. So now my Joan is gone. And it looks like we're back with the same kind of lineup that we were facing before. Although this time they lost 3 of theirs before I did. So the outcome currently is a 3 versus 2, and now it's a 3 versus 1. And it's so significantly different that I want to say the Joan definitely made a difference in how the fight played out. And the reason why I think that maybe Joan is better still than Imhotep as far as someone in your Sunset Canyon lineup team is because Joan has on her primary skill infantry units gain 30% more health, Cavs get 30% more defense, and archers get 30% more attack and 50% more rage, which means they're doing more rage and more skills are firing off, which is a bigger buff bonus than I believe Imhotep's debuff bonus. Also, she gives off healing, which benefits one of Ethelflaed's or 2 of Ethelflaed's skills, which benefit from healing because she has 2 trees that benefit on healing. So getting that 10% when it fires off gives her just a little bit more tankiness, kind of, in a sense, or survivability. And then if we go to the 4th skill, they get more normal attack damage, which is essentially what, your damage per second. So your DPS every second, you hit, it does that much damage per hit. So there's that. And of course, the expertise skill is what we're looking at on the first skill. Now if we go to Imhotep, and we look at his skills, it can debuff up to 5 targets within a radius for 3 seconds. And their damage taken is higher. Now, I'm not sure how much more damage is taken because in the Sunset Canyon lineup, I think it kind of might have mattered where I put my Ethelflaed, because where he was sitting, he only debuffed 3 targets versus debuffing all 5. Because if you position them correctly, then he should be able to go in and reach or have range for all 5 targets, and maybe I missed out on that by not watching the screen more tentatively. And he also makes it so they get 50%. One of the targets gets 50% less rage. So it's kind of like it counters Joan in a way. Like looking at it on paper, it's supposed to kind of counter Joan. I feel like outside of everything, because it's making the targets take 30% more damage, which to me means that should negate cav defense and infantry health, and of course it's not going to do anything to the archer attack bonus. But it kind of seems like this is like a counter for that. And then this is primarily focused on the archers. This is just kind of a useless buff right here. Kind of like Joan's gathering skill is a useless buff in terms of fighting. It's for gathering. And then this is skill damage reduction. Looking at it, whenever this troops commanders are attacked, there's a 10% chance of inflicting a debuff on the target for 3 seconds, and that in full only affects one target. So as far as it goes compared to like Joan, I mean that's kind of like Joan's 4th skill with just normal attack damage. Normal attack damage only affects the target you're currently attacking. This only affects the target you're currently attacking, but it just reduces their skill damage. So, and it only has a chance to trigger. So it's not like it's a consistent, like, nope, this is what it does, this is what it's doing. It's, oh, you have a chance to do that. So, I mean, it's not always going to work out, like, whether or not you're not going to take as much skill damage, so it's all on chance. Especially because this is what makes the first skill better if you use the secondary. So, I mean, honestly, I'm going to run one more test against somebody who's probably just a little bit stronger than me and see where it goes with Imhotep. And I kind of think that I don't know how I feel about this lineup, because the fact is I'm 99 and they're 98th or 88th, I think. Hold on. Yeah, let's do this person. 99th versus the 85th. That makes more sense to me. I didn't like that other lineup. Now, his lineup definitely has, I believe, all solid commanders. We're going to go ahead and switch this out for Imhotep. Bring down the spearmen because we want archers to get some of the bonus. I believe that's how it works. If not, someone correct me. But I believe the more you have, obviously it just kind of doesn't give them the full archer bonus, but they still get some of the bonus. I believe it just kind of doesn't split the way it's supposed to. So, yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move Ethelflaed up here. And we're going to move Charles down there. I think, yeah, because it'll be Charles Ethelflaed, Charles Ethelflaed. So the matchup should be pretty solid, except for the bottom. And let's see how this pans out. So Ethelflaed is now in the middle, which means all those commanders should be getting hit with the debuff. And I mean, I might lose both battles because that's just how it works out. There goes my Alexander. And they haven't lost anything yet. There goes my Ethelflaed. They still haven't lost anything, but they just lost their Saladin. My Richard's going to go down as well. Now it's a 2v4. And it seems like this is pretty much over in terms of what would be like a steamroll. But what I can tell you is that they do have Alex and Charles, and that hugely benefits in its own way. So yeah. Fast forwarding, lost that. We're going to go to history. We're going to get revenge, and we're going to see if switching out Imhotep for Joan is the play here. And then what I'm thinking is centering Alexander and kind of switching the lineup. And then seeing how this plays out. So let's see what this does in terms. I don't think I'm going to beat him because, of course, he has about 100,000 more difference in terms of like the power difference on the screen. But I could be wrong. It could be completely different, but it does look like my Alex and Richard are going down a lot faster than before. But it looks like the Saladin is actually going to die roughly around the same time. There goes Richard and Alex. Saladin is still alive. Saladin is dead. And it's a 2v4 again. And I honestly don't know what level his legendary commanders are at currently, because I didn't look at his lineup. I probably should have. But they probably could be all expertised, and if they are, I mean, that would definitely make a difference. So they're not all expertised, only the Ethelflaed is, because you can see where the icon that she has a different kind of border than Saladin or Richard or Tata or Alex, same as me. Mine are not expertised, but as far as looking at it in terms of what they look like, I mean, they're all level 60. I can't see what level like of skill they're at, but clearly has better commanders that are set up and more of them. So based on those tests alone, I'd say early game Imhotep might be viable alongside Joan, but once you get toward the end game, Joan is way more viable to keep on the roster, whereas Imhotep might fall off. I can't really say because this isn't a commander that I've used coming through the bottom to the top, considering I'm in an older kingdom and people obviously have, again, legendary commanders that they're using in their Sunset Canyon lineup teams. So this would have to be a test that I would have to probably get done either with another account or talk to somebody in a younger kingdom where there's not so many legendaries that are really, really good flying around, and where Imhotep would probably be more viable than like some of the commanders that are kind of flying around in the earlier like KVK 1 and 2 seasons. But as of right now, do I think Imhotep is viable early game? More or less so, yeah. And then once you get toward like KVK 3 or 4, I'd say maybe he starts to fall off. If someone still uses him in their lineup by then and it's working out, then, you know, definitely say something. And I'll mention it at some point in another video. But until then, this is the end of the video. All of you guys have an amazing day. Thank you. Like and subscribe the video. My name is Sin. Have an amazing day. Peace out.